Stay away from Minho. This is your only warning. Zara stared at the text message, her hands trembling as she stood outside the Seoulville Cultural Festival. 20 minutes ago, she'd rejected Korea's most desired celebrity in front of thousands of people. Now someone was threatening her life. But let's rewind. Let's go back to the moment that changed everything. The moment a single rose hit the ground and made Zara Johnson the most talked about woman in Korea. Welcome to Afro-Korean Story Diaries. Please like, share, subscribe and comment. We would love to know where you're watching from. 3 weeks earlier, the rose hit the ground before Zara even looked up. I said no thank you, she repeated. Her voice calm but firm as the silk-wrapped bouquet lay at her feet like a rejected proposal. Around her, the crowd at the Seoulville Cultural Festival gasped in unison, a wave of disbelief rippling through hundreds of onlookers. Minho stood frozen, his perfectly styled hair catching the afternoon sunlight, his expression a mixture of shock and fascination. No one had ever refused him. Not once in his 24 years of being Korea's most desired celebrity had anyone turned down even the smallest gesture from him. You're serious? He asked, tilting his head with that signature smile that had melted a million hearts on magazine covers. Dead serious, Zara said, adjusting the strap of her leather jacket and meeting his eyes with an unwavering gaze. I don't need flowers from someone I don't know. The girl standing 3 feet away pulled out her phone, already recording. Within seconds, Zara knew her face would be everywhere with captions like, "Who does she think she is?" and "Girl rejects Prince Minho." Minho laughed, a genuine sound that made his eyes crinkle. Most people would at least pretend to be impressed. I'm not most people, Zara replied, turning to walk away. Her box braids swayed with each confident step. But Minho wasn't used to conversations ending when he didn't want them to. He jogged to catch up, his security team scrambling to follow while keeping the growing crowd at bay. Wait, at least tell me your name, he called out. Zara paused, glancing back. Why? So you can add me to your list of conquests. I don't have a list, Minho protested, though the smile on his face suggested otherwise. Sure you don't. Zara continued toward the food stalls, the aroma of tteokbokki and hotteok mixing with excited chatter from festival goers who were now openly recording the interaction. A girl with pink hair stepped directly into Zara's path, her face twisted with disbelief. Are you insane? Do you know who that is? I know exactly who he is, Zara said, stepping around her. That's why I'm walking away. Behind her, Minho's voice carried over the noise. I'm not giving up that easily. Zara didn't turn around. She'd heard that line before, from different lips in a different city, and it had ended with her heart shattered and her trust destroyed. Never again would she fall for charm and pretty words. Never again would she mistake attention for genuine care. She bought a cup of bungeopang and found a quiet bench near the artificial lake. The water reflected colorful lanterns strung between trees, creating a peaceful contrast to the chaos. You handled that well. Zara looked up to find an elegant older Korean woman settling beside her, silver hair pulled back in a bun. She wore traditional hanbok in deep blue, embroidered with cranes. Thank you, Zara said cautiously. My grandson could learn something from you, the woman continued, eyes twinkling. Too many young people mistake celebrity for character. You saw what happened? Everyone saw. By tomorrow, you'll be more famous than he is. The woman smiled knowingly. The question is, what will you do with that attention? Zara bit into her pastry. Ignore it, probably. I came to Seoulville to finish my degree and focus on my art, not become internet famous. An artist, the woman said approvingly. What medium? Digital illustration. I'm working on a graphic novel about a girl who travels between worlds. Zara found herself relaxing. They talked for nearly half an hour about art, culture, and heritage. The woman's name was Mrs. Kong, and she had a warmth that reminded Zara of her own grandmother back in Atlanta. You have a strong spirit, Mrs. Kong said as she prepared to leave. Don't let anyone dim it, not even a prince. She winked at that last word, leaving Zara wondering if she knew more about Minho than she'd revealed. As evening fell, Zara made her way through the festival one last time. The lanterns glowed brighter against the darkening sky. She was almost to the exit when she spotted him again. Minho sat alone at a small table outside a tea house, his security keeping people at a distance. He was scrolling through his phone, his expression thoughtful rather than his usual camera-ready smile. Something about seeing him without an audience made him seem almost normal. Their eyes met across the distance. He raised his hand in a small wave. Zara nodded once, then walked through the festival gates into the cool evening air. Her phone exploded with notifications. Text messages from her roommate Keisha flooded in. "Girl, you're trending. Everyone is talking about you. Minho posted about meeting an interesting person today." But that wasn't what made Zara stop walking. It was the message from an unknown number that appeared at the top of her screen. "Stay away from Minho. This is your only warning." Zara stared at the words, her heart racing. She looked back at the festival entrance, the glowing lanterns now seeming less magical and more ominous. Someone out there was already watching her, already threatened by a simple rejection. She screenshot the message and kept walking, but the feeling of being watched followed her all the way home. In the shadows between streetlights, she could have sworn she saw someone with a camera, but when she looked directly, no one was there. The apartment she shared with Keisha was small but cozy, filled with plants and art supplies. When Zara walked through the door, Keisha nearly tackled her. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" Keisha's brown eyes were wide with excitement and concern. "Look at this." She shoved her phone into Zara's face. A TikTok video showed the entire interaction at the festival, capturing the moment the roses hit the ground in slow motion, complete with dramatic music. 2 million views and climbing. "Great," Zara muttered, dropping her bag. "Just what I needed." "Are you kidding? This is insane." Keisha scrolled rapidly. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, everyone's talking about you. Some people are calling you a queen, others are calling you worse. "Look at these hashtags." Zara glanced at the screen. Hashtag No to Minho was trending with thousands of posts. Some praised her confidence. Others were vicious. "At Minho forever mine. This nobody needs to learn her place. Who does she think she is?" At K-pop Queen 99. "Finally someone who doesn't worship celebrities. We need more women like her." At Seoul Sasanak. "I found her Instagram. Time to show her what happens when you disrespect our appa." That last comment made Zara's stomach drop. She showed Keisha the threatening text message. Keisha's excitement vanished. "Z, this is serious. You need to report this." "Report what? An anonymous text? The police won't do anything." Zara sat heavily on the couch. "I just wanted to say no to some flowers. How did this become my life?" Her phone rang. Unknown number. She let it go to voicemail. It rang again immediately, then again. On the fourth call, Zara answered. "What? Zara?" The voice was smooth, professional, female. "My name is Sunny Park. I'm Minho's publicist. I was hoping we could talk about today." "There's nothing to talk about. I turned down flowers." End of story. In Minho's world, nothing is ever the end of the story. Sunny's laugh sounded both amused and stressed. "Look, I'm not calling to scold you. Minho specifically told me not to do that. He's genuinely intrigued by you. But I need to warn you about what's coming." "What do you mean?" "The media frenzy is just beginning. Minho has a scheduled appearance at the Seoulville University Charity Gala next weekend. There's already speculation that you might attend since you're a student there. Paparazzi will be hunting for you. Fan accounts are trying to identify your classes, your schedule, where you live." Zara's blood ran cold. "That's insane. That's celebrity culture." Sunny's voice softened. "Between you and me, I've worked with Minho for 3 years. I've never seen him this genuinely interested in someone. Usually it's surface level. This feels different." "That's not my problem," Zara said, though something in her chest fluttered. "Fair enough. But Zara, please be careful. Some fans can be intense. If anyone threatens you or makes you uncomfortable, call me immediately." Sunny rattled off her number. "And if you decide to go to the gala, I can arrange security. After they hung up, Zara sat in the kitchen processing everything. Keisha appeared with chamomile tea. You okay? Remember Marcus? Zara said quietly. Keisha's expression turned sympathetic. Of course. He said the same thing Sonny just said. That I was different, that he'd never met anyone like me. Then the second I believed him, he was posting pictures with another girl, claiming we were never serious. Zara wrapped her hands around the warm mug. I'm not doing that again. And Marcus was just a college basketball player. Minho has millions of fans who would destroy me for breathing near him wrong. Not all guys are Marcus, Keisha ventured. No, Minho's worse. He comes with an army of obsessed fans sending death threats. Zara showed her the text again. I don't need this drama. That night, Zara tried focusing on her graphic novel. Her protagonist, Amara, was stuck between two dimensions, discovering she could reshape reality with her art. Zara poured her tangled emotions into every panel, the shadows growing darker as Amara faced her fears. Her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Against her better judgment, she looked. A direct message on Instagram from Minho official. I'm sorry about today. I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. I just wanted to say you have an incredible presence, and I'd like to get to know you better. No pressure. No cameras, just coffee. Zara stared at the message, fingers hovering over the keyboard. She typed and deleted 3 responses before settling on, I appreciate the apology, but I'm not interested. Good luck with everything. She hit send, put her phone on Do Not Disturb, and returned to drawing. But sleep didn't come easily that night. 3 days passed. The social media frenzy intensified instead of dying down. New videos surfaced from different angles, all showing the same story. Fashion bloggers analyzed her outfit. Relationship experts debated her choice. Minho's fan clubs split into factions, some respecting her boundaries, others launching coordinated attacks. Zara tried ignoring it all. She went to classes, worked on her art, met with her thesis advisor. But everywhere she went on campus, people stared. Some approached to congratulate her, others to criticize. Wednesday morning, she arrived at her digital arts seminar to find her usual seat taken by a girl she'd never seen before, wearing a shirt with Minho's face on it. Oh, sorry, the girl said sweetly, not moving. I didn't realize this seat was reserved for celebrities. It's not. I just usually sit here, Zara said evenly, taking the seat behind instead. Throughout class, she felt eyes on her. Whispers followed her into the hallway afterward. Someone bumped into her hard enough to knock her tablet bag off her shoulder, scattering supplies across the floor. Oops, a voice said. Guess you're not as untouchable as you think. Zara looked up to see 3 girls standing over her, arms crossed. The one in front had Minho's face on her phone case. I don't want any trouble, Zara said, gathering her things. Then you shouldn't have humiliated our Appa in front of thousands of people, the girl snapped. He was being nice to you, and you treated him like garbage. I politely declined flowers. That's not humiliation. You made him look stupid. Another girl stepped closer. Do you know how many people would kill for his attention? And you just throw it away like he's nothing? A small crowd was gathering. Zara stood slowly, keeping her voice level. I don't owe anyone my time or attention just because they're famous. Not Minho, not you, not anyone. You think you're so special, the first girl hissed. But you're nobody. A nobody who got lucky for 5 minutes. We'll make sure everyone remembers that. Is there a problem here? Professor Chen's voice cut through the tension. The crowd dispersed quickly, but not before Zara saw phones being tucked away. They'd been recording. No problem, Professor, Zara said, though her hands shook as she finished gathering her supplies. That evening, the confrontation was already viral. Minho's fans attacked the girl who rejected him, screamed the headlines. Comment sections exploded with takes from every angle. But worse than the video going viral was what appeared in her inbox that night. Someone had found her email. Hundreds of messages flooded in, most of them hateful. But one made her blood run cold. You think you're better than everyone else. I know where you live. I know your schedule. Be careful walking home alone, Zara Johnson. Accidents happen to girls who don't know their place. Her address was included, her class schedule, even a photo of her apartment building. Zara's hands trembled as she showed Keisha. This is getting out of control. We need to call the police. And Minho's publicist. Someone needs to know this is happening. Keisha was already dialing. 20 minutes later, Sunny Park called back, her voice tight with concern. I'm sending security to your apartment tonight. This has gone too far. Minho doesn't know yet, but when he finds out, don't tell him, Zara said quickly. This isn't his problem to fix. Zara, he'll want to know. These are his fans acting this way. And that's exactly why I didn't want anything to do with him. Zara's voice cracked. I knew this would happen. I knew getting involved with someone like him would turn my life into chaos. You're not involved with him. You rejected him. And you're still dealing with this. Sunny's voice softened. That's not fair and it's not right. Let us help. A security guard arrived within the hour. A professional woman named Jean who would stay posted outside their building overnight. The police took Zara's statement but were frustratingly vague about what they could actually do. Monitor your accounts. Don't engage with threats. Let us know if anyone approaches you physically, the officer said, as if that would solve anything. Zara barely slept. Every sound outside made her jump. Every notification made her heart race. This was her life now, all because she'd said no to flowers. The next morning, exhausted and anxious, Zara almost stayed home. But she refused to let fear control her. She had a thesis to finish, a career to build. She wouldn't hide. Campus felt different. More people stared, but some stares were sympathetic now. A girl from her dorm stopped her on the way to the library. Hey, I just wanted to say I saw what happened yesterday. Those girls were completely out of line. If you need someone to walk with you between classes, I'm happy to. Thank you, Zara said, genuinely touched. That means a lot. The library became her sanctuary. 3rd floor, tucked in a corner surrounded by art history books nobody ever checked out. She set up her tablet and tried to lose herself in work. She was deep into drawing when a shadow fell across her table. This seat taken? Zara looked up to find Minho standing there, wearing a baseball cap pulled low and a simple black hoodie. Without the styled hair and designer clothes, he looked younger, more vulnerable, and absolutely furious. I heard what happened, he said quietly, sliding into the chair across from her without waiting for permission. I heard about the confrontation, the threats, the email with your address. Sunny told you. Of course she told me. Did you really think I wouldn't find out? His voice was controlled, but anger simmered beneath. Zara, I'm so sorry. This is my fault. It's not your fault that some people are unhinged, Zara said, though part of her did blame him. If she'd never met him, none of this would be happening. It is my fault. These are my fans. They think they're protecting me, but they're terrorizing you. Minho ran a hand through his hair. I'm making a statement today. I'm telling them to stop, that their behavior is unacceptable. That'll just make it worse, Zara said. They'll think I complained to you, that I'm trying to control you. It'll add fuel to the fire. So what? I just let them threaten you? You let me handle my own life, Zara said firmly, meeting his eyes. I don't need you to rescue me, Minho. I need you to respect that I made a choice, and that choice was to stay away from all of this. She gestured vaguely at him. From the chaos and the cameras and the crazy fans. This is exactly why I said no. Minho absorbed that, pain flickering across his face. You're right. I'm sorry. I just hate that you're going through this because of me. I'm going through this because some people don't understand boundaries, Zara corrected. That's on them, not you. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Minho pulled out his phone and showed her a draft of his statement. To my fans, I love and appreciate your support, but recent actions towards someone I met have crossed a line. Threatening, harassing, or attacking anyone is never acceptable. If you truly support me, you'll respect others the way I try to respect everyone. This behavior needs to stop immediately. It's good, Zara admitted, But you should add something about respecting people's right to say no. Make it clear that rejection isn't an insult. Minho nodded, making notes. Will you be safe? Do you need anything? Your publicist sent security. I'll be fine. I'm also having my security team monitor the situation. If anyone tries anything, they'll handle it. He stood to leave, then paused. For what it's worth, I meant what I said in that message. I do think you're incredible, but I understand why you want nothing to do with me. I wouldn't want to deal with my life either. After he left, Zara sat staring at her blank screen. Part of her wanted to hate him for bringing this chaos into her life. But the genuine remorse in his eyes, the way he'd accepted blame even though he wasn't really at fault, made it impossible to hate him. She hated the situation. But him? She wasn't sure what she felt anymore. Minho posted his statement that afternoon. Within hours, it had millions of views. The response was mixed. Many fans praised him for taking a stand. Others felt betrayed, claiming he was choosing a stranger over the people who'd supported him for years. But the harassment did slow down. The hateful messages decreased from hundreds to dozens. Campus felt slightly safer. Zara could walk to class without feeling like prey. Then Friday happened. Zara was working her evening shift at the campus art gallery when Keisha burst through the door, phone outstretched and face pale. Z, you need to see this. Now. The video was already at 500,000 views. Someone had edited together footage from the festival, the hallway confrontation, and snippets from Minho's interviews. But they'd added something new. Fabricated screenshots of text messages between Zara and Minho, made to look like she'd been playing hard to get deliberately, stringing him along for attention. The fake messages showed her saying things like, I love watching him chase me, and this rejection thing is working perfectly, he's obsessed. There were even doctored images of them together at places Zara had never been, angles that made innocent interactions look intimate. This is insane, Zara whispered, scrolling through comment after comment of people calling her a manipulator, a gold digger, a liar. At Expose the fakes. I knew she was playing games. She's been using him this whole time. At Truth Seeker, these messages prove she's just another clout chaser. Minho deserves better. At Minho Defender, someone needs to expose this girl before she destroys his reputation completely. The creator of the video, an account called Protecting Appa, had over 100,000 followers. They'd pinned a comment. Zara Johnson thinks she can play with Minho's feelings for fame. Time to show everyone who she really is. Who would do this? Zara's voice shook. Who would go this far? Someone with serious tech skills, Keisha said grimly. These look almost real. If I didn't know you, I'd believe them. Zara's phone started ringing. Sunny Park. She answered on speaker. Zara, I'm so sorry. We're trying to get the video taken down for misinformation, but it's spreading too fast. Minho wants to make another statement. No, Zara cut her off. Every time he says something, it makes it worse. His fans will just think I'm controlling him, making him defend me. Then what do you want to do? Zara looked at Keisha, at the gallery around her that had been her safe space, now feeling contaminated by the chaos. I want to disappear. Transfer schools. Change my name. Whatever it takes to make this stop. Don't you dare, Keisha said fiercely. You've worked too hard to let some jealous internet trolls chase you away from your dreams. But how do I fight this? How do I prove those messages are fake when everyone's already decided I'm guilty? We find out who's behind it, Sunny said, and we expose them. I'm hiring a digital forensics expert. These images were manipulated, which means there's evidence. Give us 48 hours. After hanging up, Zara slumped against the gallery desk. I can't believe this is my life. 3 weeks ago, I was just a student working on my thesis. Now I'm at the center of some twisted celebrity conspiracy theory. This isn't your fault, Keisha insisted. You didn't ask for any of this. I should have just taken the flowers, Zara said bitterly. Smiled for the cameras, played along. None of this would have happened. And you'd be living a lie, pretending to be someone you're not. That's not you, Z. You stood up for what you believed in. The fact that some people can't handle that is their problem, not yours. But it felt like Zara's problem when she couldn't sleep that night, jumping at every sound. It felt like her problem when she had to take a different route to class to avoid being recognized. It felt like her problem when her mother called from Atlanta, worried sick after seeing the videos. "Baby, are you safe? Do you need to come home?" Her mother's voice cracked with concern. "I'm okay, Mom. Promise. It's just internet drama. It'll blow over." Zara tried to sound confident, even as she felt herself breaking. "If you need me, I'm on the next flight. Don't try to handle this alone." After reassuring her mother, Zara opened her laptop to work on her graphic novel. But staring at Amara's journey felt impossible. Her protagonist was supposed to be brave, facing down her fears and emerging stronger. Right now, Zara felt like the opposite. She felt small, scared, and overwhelmed by forces she couldn't control. A notification popped up. Email from her thesis advisor, Professor Martinez. "Zara, I've seen what's happening online. If you need an extension or time off, please don't hesitate to ask. Your well-being matters more than deadlines." Tears blurred Zara's vision. The kindness broke something in her that the cruelty hadn't quite managed. She closed her laptop and let herself cry for the first time since this nightmare began. Saturday morning brought unexpected relief. Sunny Park called with news. They'd found the source of the doctored images. A fan account called Minho's True Love, run by someone named Yuna Park, a college student in Seoul with a history of harassing anyone who got close to Minho. "She's been doing this for years," Sunny explained, "going after backup dancers, co-stars, anyone Minho shows interest in. Usually she just posts hate comments, but this time she escalated. We have lawyers drafting a cease and desist. She'll take everything down or face legal consequences." "Why does she care this much?" Zara asked. "She doesn't even know him." Parasocial relationships can become obsessive. In her mind, she has a real connection with him. Anyone who threatens that fantasy becomes an enemy. Sunny paused. "The good news is, once we expose her manipulation, public opinion should shift. The forensics team found proof that every single screenshot was fabricated." "When will you release the information?" "Today. Minho wants to go live on Instagram and address everything directly. Show the evidence, call out the harassment, make it clear that this behavior has real consequences." That afternoon, Zara watched from her apartment as Minho went live. Within minutes, hundreds of thousands of viewers tuned in. "Hi everyone," he started, his expression serious. "I'm not usually one to address rumors, but recent events have crossed a line. Someone created fake messages and images to make it look like Zara, the person I met at the festival, was manipulating me. I'm here to tell you that's completely false." He pulled up the forensics report on screen, showing technical proof of manipulation. These images were doctored by someone named Yuna Park, who has been warned multiple times about harassment. "This isn't fandom. This is stalking. And it ends now." Minho's voice hardened. "To everyone who participated in spreading these lies, who sent threats, who made someone's life hell for simply saying no to me, you need to understand something. Zara didn't use me. She didn't manipulate me. She treated me like a normal person, and I respect her for that. What some of you did to her because you couldn't accept that is disgusting." The comments section exploded. Some fans apologized. Others doubled down. But the tide was shifting. Major K-pop news sites picked up the story, condemning the harassment. Other celebrities spoke out about toxic fan culture. Within hours, Yuna's account was suspended. The fake videos were removed. Apology posts flooded Zara's mentions. But the damage was done. Zara sat in her apartment, reading apologies from people who'd torn her apart days earlier, and felt nothing but exhaustion. "You okay?" Keisha asked gently. "I don't know," Zara admitted. "Everyone's sorry now. But where were they when it mattered? When I was getting death threats and having my life exposed? People get caught up in mob mentality. Doesn't make it right, but at least some are trying to make amends." Zara's phone buzzed. "Minho, can we talk? Not online, not at school. Somewhere private." She stared at the message for a long time before responding. When and where? They met at a private studio space that Minho rented for rehearsals. Security checked Zara's ID at the door, then escorted her to a room on the 3rd floor. The space was simple. Hardwood floors, mirrored walls, and soft lighting. Minho stood by the window, still wearing his baseball cap despite the privacy. "Thank you for coming," he said as she entered. "I wasn't sure you would." "I wasn't sure I should," Zara admitted. "Every time I get near you, my life gets more complicated." "I know. And I'm sorry." Minho turned to face her fully. "I've been thinking about what you said in the library, about how this is exactly why you didn't want to be involved with me. You were right. So why am I here? Because I need to tell you something, and I need you to really hear it." He took a breath. "I'm walking away. From pursuing you, from hoping you'll change your mind, from all of it. Not because I don't care, but because I do. You deserve peace, and I can't give you that. My world is too chaotic, too public, too dangerous for someone who just wants to live their life." Zara felt something twist in her chest. "Oh, I wanted to tell you in person because you deserve that respect. And because I wanted to say that meeting you changed something in me. You reminded me what it feels like to be seen as a person, not a product. Even though it didn't work out the way I hoped, I'm grateful for that." "Minho, let me finish," he said gently. "I'm also setting up a scholarship fund in your name, for artists who face harassment or obstacles while pursuing their dreams. It won't fix what you went through, but maybe it can help others. And before you argue, it's not about you owing me anything. It's about me trying to create something good from something terrible." Zara felt tears threatening. This wasn't what she'd expected. She'd expected him to try one more time to convince her, to make promises about keeping her safe. Instead, he was letting her go with grace. "Why does this feel worse than if you tried to change my mind?" she asked quietly. "Because you're realizing that what you felt wasn't just fear," Minho said. "At least that's what I'm hoping. But I also know that what you feel doesn't matter if the circumstances are impossible. And right now they are. So that's it. We just walk away. We do what's best for you, which is me stepping back and giving you the peace you asked for." Minho pulled something from his pocket, a small wrapped package. "But I wanted to give you this first. I finished it before everything went wrong." Zara unwrapped it to find a custom frame containing her 3 gallery pieces, professionally mounted with a small plaque that read, "For the artist who taught me the value of authenticity. Thank you for staying true to yourself." "I told you I bought them because they were good art," Minho said. "I meant it. These belong in your collection, not mine." Zara traced the frame's edge, overwhelmed. "I don't know what to say." "Don't say anything. Just keep creating. Keep being yourself. And know that somewhere out there, I'll be cheering for your success." He smiled sadly. Even if it's from a distance. She should have felt relieved. This was what she wanted, wasn't it? Freedom from the chaos, space to focus on her goals. So why did it hurt so much? What if? Zara started, then stopped. What if the circumstances were different? What if we'd met as just 2 normal people? Then I'd take you to that coffee shop you like near campus. We'd talk about art and culture and everything that matters. I'd make you laugh with terrible jokes. And maybe, if I was really lucky, you'd give me a chance to prove I could be worthy of your time. You already proved that, Zara said softly. The way you handled everything, the respect you showed even when I kept pushing you away. You proved you're more than the celebrity everyone sees. But it's still not enough, is it? Because the celebrity part comes with too much baggage. Zara wanted to argue, but couldn't. He was right. Even with the current drama dying down, there would always be another scandal, another obsessed fan, another invasion of privacy. Could she really live that life? Did she even want to try? I should go, she said finally. But Minho, thank you. For everything. For respecting my boundaries, for standing up when it mattered, for being the kind of person who makes walking away this hard. He walked her to the door, maintaining that careful distance he'd always kept. But at the threshold, Zara did something impulsive. She hugged him, Just for a moment, just enough to feel the reality of him beyond the image. "Take care of yourself," she whispered. "You too," he replied, his voice rough with emotion. Zara left the building and climbed into the car Sunny had arranged. As they pulled away, she looked back once to see Minho standing in the window, watching her go. She raised her hand in a small wave. He did the same. That night, alone in her room, Zara finally let herself feel everything she'd been pushing down. The fear, the anger, the relief, and underneath it all, a growing sense of loss for what might have been in a different world. She opened her graphic novel file and stared at Amara, frozen between dimensions. Her protagonist had been stuck at this point for weeks because Zara hadn't known how to resolve her journey. But suddenly it became clear. Amara didn't need to choose one world. She needed to find the courage to create her own path, even if it meant being alone for a while. Even if it meant walking away from what seemed like safety because she knew, deep down, that she was strong enough to face whatever came next. Zara drew until sunrise, pouring every complicated emotion into the panels. By the time light crept through her window, she'd completed an entire chapter. The best work she'd ever created. The following week passed quietly. No more harassment, no more videos, no more chaos. Campus felt normal again. Zara attended classes, worked on her thesis, and slowly began to breathe easier. But she couldn't stop thinking about Minho. About the sadness in his eyes when he'd let her go. About the way her chest ached every time she passed the library corner where they'd studied together. "You're miserable," Keisha observed Thursday evening. "Just admit it." "I'm not miserable. I'm focused on my work." "You're focused on avoiding your feelings." Keisha sat beside her. "Z, I know you're scared. I know Marcus hurt you badly. But Minho isn't Marcus. He proved that by walking away when you needed him to. Which is exactly why I can't reach out," Zara said. "He did the right thing. I should respect that." "Or," Keisha said carefully, "you could admit that maybe, just maybe, he was worth the risk. That some things are worth fighting for, even when they're scary." "It's not just scary, Keisha. It's impossible. His life is chaos. Mine is simple. Those worlds don't mix. They already mixed. The question is whether you're brave enough to figure out how to make them work together." That night, Zara couldn't sleep. She kept replaying Minho's words. What if the circumstances were different? But circumstances were what they were. You couldn't change reality just by wishing. Her phone buzzed. A notification from the university. "Congratulations! Your graphic novel, Between Worlds, has been selected for publication by Moonlight Press. Please contact Professor Martinez to discuss next steps." Zara sat up, reading the email 3 times to make sure it was real. Her graphic novel. Published. Everything she'd worked for coming true. She wanted to celebrate, to shout, to share the news with everyone. But the first person she thought of calling was Minho. He'd understood her work from the beginning, seen the depth in her art that others missed. Before she could overthink it, she sent a text. "My graphic novel got picked up for publication." 3 dots appeared immediately. Then, "Zara, that's incredible. I knew it would happen. You're too talented for the world to ignore. Thank you for believing in me. Always. How are you doing?" She stared at those 2 words, so simple and loaded with meaning. How was she doing? Successful, safe, and completely hollow inside. "I miss you," she typed, then deleted. Too much, too soon. Instead, better. Everything calmed down. Life is back to normal. That's good. You deserve peace. Do I? Zara asked before she could stop herself. Because peace is starting to feel a lot like loneliness. The 3 dots appeared and disappeared several times. Finally, "What are you saying?" Zara's heart pounded. This was it. The moment she either stayed safe or took a terrifying leap. "I'm saying maybe I was wrong. Maybe some things are worth the chaos." Her phone rang immediately. Minho's voice was cautious when she answered. "Zara, I need you to be really clear about what you're saying because I don't want to misunderstand. I'm saying that walking away was supposed to make everything easier, but it didn't. I'm saying that I can't stop thinking about you. I'm saying that maybe I've been so focused on protecting myself that I forgot that living means taking risks sometimes. But nothing has changed, Minho said carefully. I'm still going to be followed by cameras. Fans are still going to have opinions. My schedule is still insane. All the reasons you said no are still valid. I know. But here's what has changed. I realize that avoiding pain isn't the same as finding happiness. I've been so scared of repeating my past that I was willing to sacrifice my future. Zara took a shaky breath. You walked away when I asked you to. You respected my boundaries even when it hurt. That's not something Marcus would ever do. And I think I need to stop punishing you for his mistakes. Silence on the other end. Then, I'm coming over. Right now. We need to have this conversation face to face. 20 minutes later, Minho stood at her apartment door, hair disheveled from the cap he just pulled off, eyes intense with emotion. Hi, Zara said, suddenly nervous. Hi. He didn't move from the doorway. Before we go any further, I need you to understand what you're signing up for, because it's not just cameras and crazy fans. It's me being gone for weeks at a time on tour. It's our private moments being analyzed and dissected. It's never knowing who to trust because everyone wants something. It's lonely even when you're surrounded by people. I know, Zara said. I've seen it firsthand, remember? Seeing it and living it are different. And I won't let you dive into this without understanding that. Minho stepped closer. I also need you to know that I'm not expecting you to change your life for mine. Your art, your career, your dreams, they all matter just as much as mine. More, actually, because you're building something real and honest while I'm performing someone else's version of who I should be. Then maybe we help each other find balance, Zara suggested. Maybe I remind you who you are behind the performance, and you remind me that taking risks doesn't make me weak. Maybe, Minho agreed, a small smile breaking through his serious expression. But we go slow. We keep it private as long as possible. And the second you need space or want to walk away, you tell me. No guilt, no pressure. Deal. Zara held out her hand for a handshake. Minho looked at it, then at her, then pulled her into a proper hug instead. I missed you, he murmured into her hair. These past weeks have been hell. Me too, Zara admitted, letting herself relax into the embrace. Keisha kept telling me I was being stubborn. You were being careful. There's a difference. He pulled back to look at her. So what now? Now we try, really try, and we figure it out as we go. They spent the rest of the evening on her couch, talking about boundaries and expectations and fears. Minho shared stories from his years in the industry, the loneliness beneath the glamour, the times he'd wanted to quit but felt trapped by success. Zara told him about Marcus, about the betrayal that had made her build walls so high. I get why you were scared, Minho said. I get why you pushed me away. And honestly, if I were you, I probably would have done the same thing. But you're here now, Zara pointed out, even knowing all my baggage and trust issues, because your baggage makes sense. And trust issues are just proof that you're smart enough to protect yourself. He tucked a loose braid behind her ear. I'm just grateful you're willing to give me a chance to prove I'm trustworthy. They decided to keep their relationship completely private for the first month. No social media posts, no public appearances together, just quiet moments stolen between his schedules and her classes. It was harder than Zara expected. Not because of the secrecy, but because every moment with Minho made her fall deeper, made the fear of losing him more acute. They studied in the library corner, careful to arrive and leave separately. They had dinner at his private studio, ordering takeout and eating on the floor while debating everything from philosophy to favorite childhood cartoons. He showed her his songwriting process, vulnerable in ways his public persona never was. She shared pages from her graphic novel, letting him see the raw, unfinished work that nobody else got to view. You're going to change the industry with this, Minho said one evening, studying her latest chapter. The way you blend cultural identity with fantasy, it's revolutionary. It's just my story, Zara said. Just one black girl trying to figure out where she belongs. That's what makes it revolutionary. You're not trying to be universal. You're being specifically, unapologetically you. That's what resonates. 3 weeks into their secret relationship, Zara's graphic novel launched. The publication had moved quickly, riding the wave of interest from her earlier fame. Reviews were overwhelmingly positive, praising the unique perspective and stunning visuals. Minho sent her flowers that morning, delivered to her apartment with a card that read, "For the artist who was always going to make it. Proud of you, M." That evening, they celebrated at his studio with champagne and Chinese food. "I want to post about your book," Minho said, "just as a fan, not revealing our relationship. Is that okay?" "You don't have to," Zara said, though the gesture meant more than she wanted to admit. "I want to. Your work deserves recognition beyond the drama that brought you attention in the first place." He posted a simple story that night, a photo of her book with the caption, "Between Worlds" by Zara Johnson. "Read it. Trust me." Within hours, it was sold out on 3 major platforms. Publishing companies scrambled to print more copies. Zara's phone exploded with interview requests, speaking opportunities, and collaboration offers. "This is insane," she told Keisha, staring at her inbox. "Yesterday I was a student with a dream. Today I'm a published author with actual readers." "You earned this," Keisha said firmly. "Every page, every sleepless night, every moment you chose your art over everything else. This is your success, Z. Own it." But success brought new complications. Journalists wanted to know about her connection to Minho. Had he helped her get published? Was their relationship more than friendship? The questions felt invasive, reducing her achievement to gossip fodder. "We need to talk about going public," Minho said during one of their library sessions. "People are asking questions. It's only a matter of time before someone gets a photo of us together." "I'm not ready," Zara admitted. "I know that sounds cowardly, but I've just gotten my life back. I'm not ready to invite the chaos in again." "Then we wait. However long you need." But Minho's expression was troubled. "What's wrong?" "My company wants me to do a dating show for publicity. Partner up with another idol for a fake relationship to promote both our comebacks." He ran his hand through his hair. "I said no, obviously, but they're pushing back hard, saying it's in my contract, that I owe them this level of cooperation." "Would you have to do it?" Zara felt her stomach drop. "Legally, maybe, but I'm fighting it. I told them I'm seeing someone seriously, and I won't disrespect that relationship for publicity." "You told them about me?" "I told them I'm unavailable. I didn't give them your name." Minho took her hand. "But Zara, this is what I meant about my world being complicated. My company thinks they own every aspect of my life, including who I date and when. That's insane. That's the industry, and it's why I wanted you to really understand what you were getting into." Over the next week, Minho fought with his company daily. They threatened to reduce his promotions, to give his songs to other artists, to make his life professionally difficult if he didn't cooperate. The stress showed in the circles under his eyes, in the tension in his shoulders. "Maybe you should just do it," Zara said one evening, hating the words even as she spoke them. "It's just business, right? Fake dating for cameras. It's not just business. It's me telling the world that my private life is for sale, that nothing about me is real or sacred." Minho shook his head. "I won't do it. Not for them, and definitely not while I'm with you. You deserve better than being someone's secret while I parade around with a fake girlfriend. But your career will survive, or it won't. But I'll survive either way as long as I still know who I am." He cupped her face gently. "You taught me that. When you walked away that first time, you showed me that some things matter more than fame or success. I'm not forgetting that lesson now." 2 days later, Minho's company leaked their fight to the press. Headlines screamed, "Minho rebels against company. Relationship rumors surface." Speculation ran wild about who he was protecting, who he was dating in secret. Zara's name came up immediately. Old footage from the festival resurfaced. Fans connected dots, real and imaginary. Within 48 hours, paparazzi were staking out her apartment again. "This is my nightmare," Zara said. watching through her window as photographers camped outside. "This is exactly what I was afraid of." "I'm so sorry," Minho said on the phone, his voice heavy with guilt. "My company did this deliberately. They're trying to force my hand by making your life miserable." "It's working." Zara felt tears threatening. "I can't leave my apartment without being followed. Reporters are calling my professors. Someone tried to bribe Keisha for information about us. Come stay at my place. The secured, private. You'll be safe there. If I do that, it confirms everything. Proves we're together." "Then let's confirm it," Minho said suddenly. "Let's stop hiding. I'll make a statement, we'll do it on our terms, and we face whatever comes together instead of you facing it alone." "I'm not ready," Zara repeated, though the words felt hollow now. "I know. But Zara, they're not going to stop until they get what they want. The question is whether we let them control the narrative or if we take control ourselves." That night, unable to sleep, Zara finally called her mother in Atlanta. "Baby, I've been so worried," her mother said immediately. "I've seen the news. Tell me what's really going on." Zara told her everything. The relationship, the secrecy, the company pressure, her fear of losing herself in Minho's world. Her mother listened without interrupting, the way she always did. "So here's what I'm hearing," her mother said finally. "You found someone who respects you, supports your dreams, and is willing to fight his own company to protect your privacy. But you're scared because his life is complicated and public." "Yes, exactly. Baby, everyone's life is complicated. Not everyone gets paparazzi, but everyone has something. The question isn't whether his life is difficult. The question is whether he's worth navigating that difficulty for." "I think he is," Zara admitted quietly. "I think I love him, Mama, and that terrifies me." "Love should terrify you. It means you're risking something real. But running from it because you're scared? That'll haunt you forever." Her mother's voice softened. "I raised you to be brave, Zara. Not reckless, but brave. There's a difference. Brave means acknowledging the fear and doing it anyway because some things are worth fighting for." After they hung up, Zara sat in the darkness of her room, thinking. Her mother was right. She'd been so focused on protecting herself that she'd forgotten what she was protecting herself from actually living. From feeling, from risking, from potentially being hurt, but also from potentially being happy. She grabbed her phone and texted Minho. "Let's do it. Let's go public. But we do it my way." He called immediately. "What do you mean?" "I mean, we don't let your company control the narrative. We don't play their game. Instead, we tell our story honestly. I'll do an interview about my book and my art, and I'll mention that yes, I'm dating you, but that's not the interesting part of my life. The interesting part is my work, my dreams, my identity beyond being someone's girlfriend." "I love that," Minho said, excitement creeping into his exhausted voice. "We make it clear that you're not an accessory to my career. You're your own person with your own achievements." "Exactly. And you do the same. Talk about your art, your music, the real you beyond the performance. Show people that there's depth beneath the celebrity." They planned carefully over the next 2 days. Zara lined up an interview with a respected arts and culture magazine. Minho scheduled a live conversation with a journalist known for thoughtful celebrity profiles. They coordinated to release both pieces simultaneously, each telling their side of the story with honesty and dignity. The night before the interviews dropped, they met at his studio one last time in complete privacy. "Are you ready for this?" Minho asked, holding both her hands. "No," Zara admitted. "But I'm doing it anyway. That's what brave people do, right? That's what brave people do." He kissed her forehead gently. "Whatever happens tomorrow, whatever the internet says or how people react, I want you to know that I'm in this. Completely. You're not just someone I'm dating. You're the person who made me remember who I wanted to be before fame made me forget. And you're the person who proved that not all pretty words are lies," Zara replied. "That sometimes people mean what they say and follow through with actions." "Always," Minho promised. "I'll always follow through." The next morning, both interviews went live simultaneously. Zara's piece focused on her graphic novel, her artistic journey, and her experience navigating fame she never asked for. She spoke honestly about her relationship with Minho, framing it as two artists finding connection amid chaos, but making clear that her identity and career existed independently of him. Minho's interview was equally thoughtful. He discussed the pressures of celebrity, the loneliness of performance, and how meeting someone who valued authenticity had changed his perspective. He talked about Zara's talent and drive, making it clear he admired her as an equal, not as a trophy. The response was overwhelming. Some fans were angry, feeling betrayed, but many more were supportive, praising their honesty and maturity. Think pieces appeared analyzing their approach to public relationships, holding them up as examples of how to maintain individuality while being part of a couple. "Look at this," Keisha said, showing Zara her phone. "Teen Vogue just called you the artist who refused to let love define her. That's major." Zara scrolled through responses, seeing her book sales spike again, seeing interview requests from major publications wanting to discuss art and identity rather than just gossip. This was different from the earlier fame. This felt earned, respected. Her phone rang. "Minho, have you seen the news about my company?" he asked. "No, what happened?" "They released a statement saying they support my personal life choices and respect my relationship. Total reversal from last week." "Why the change?" "Because the public response has been so positive that they realized fighting me would make them look bad. Plus, your book sales are through the roof, and they're hoping to capitalize on your success for my next album promotion." Minho laughed. "Turns out authenticity sells better than manufactured drama." "So we did it," Zara said, still processing. "We took control of the narrative and won. We're still going to deal with cameras and speculation and all the other chaos," Minho warned. "This doesn't make it all magically go away." "I know, but now we're facing it together, in the open on our terms. That feels different." That evening, they went on their first public date. Dinner at a quiet restaurant with floor-to-ceiling windows, where anyone could see them but they didn't care. They held hands across the table, laughed over shared appetizers, and yes, photographers got pictures. But this time, the photos showed genuine happiness instead of stolen moments. "How does it feel?" Minho asked. "Being public, scary," Zara admitted, "but also freeing. I'm not hiding anymore. I'm not pretending to be someone I'm not or sacrificing my dreams for safety. I'm just living." "Living looks good on you," Minho said with a smile that was all warmth and no performance. The following weeks weren't easy, but they were real. Zara attended classes and worked on her next graphic novel while navigating occasional paparazzi and constant social media attention. Minho balanced his schedule between promotions and stolen moments with her, always making sure she felt prioritized despite the chaos of his career. They had their first real fight 3 weeks after going public. Minho had canceled plans last minute for an emergency company meeting, the third time that month he'd chosen work over her. "I understand your schedule is demanding," Zara said when he finally called hours later. "But I need to know I matter more than just another item on your to-do list." "You're not," Minho said, frustration evident in his voice. "You're the most important thing. But I also can't just ignore my responsibilities because I want to spend time with you." "I'm not asking you to ignore responsibilities. I'm asking you to communicate better, to involve me in decisions that affect us, to treat this relationship like a partnership instead of something you fit in between schedules." Silence on his end. Then, "You're right. I've been so used to compartmentalizing my life that I forgot relationships don't work that way. I'm sorry." They worked through it, establishing better communication and clearer boundaries. Minho started blocking off sacred time just for them, time when his phone stayed off and his company knew not to interrupt. Zara learned to be more flexible with last-minute changes, understanding that his industry operated on chaos. "Relationships are work," Keisha observed one evening, watching Zara navigate a difficult conversation with Minho about an upcoming tour. "But it's good work. The kind that makes you both better." "It is," Zara agreed. "Hard, but worth it." 2 months after going public, Zara was invited to speak at a major arts conference about identity and representation in comics. It was her first major speaking engagement, and she was terrified. "What if I mess up?" she asked Minho the night before. "What if I freeze or say something stupid?" "Then you'll be human," Minho said simply. "Zara, you've already proven you can handle intense pressure. You faced down an army of hostile fans, dealt with death threats, and still managed to get your work published. A speaking engagement is nothing compared to that. That's different. That was survival. This is performance. No, this is sharing your truth. That's what you do best." He pulled her close. "You're going to be amazing, and I'll be in the front row cheering you on." "You're coming." Zara looked up at him, surprised. "Of course I'm coming. You think I'd miss this?" The conference was held in a massive convention center packed with artists, publishers, and fans. Zara stood backstage, hands shaking as she listened to her introduction. Then she walked out onto the stage, found Minho in the audience exactly where he'd said he'd be, and began to speak. She talked about her journey as a Black artist navigating predominantly white spaces. She discussed the importance of authentic representation versus tokenism. She showed panels from her graphic novel, explaining how she'd woven her Nigerian and Jamaican heritage into the fantasy world she'd created. "Art isn't about erasing who we are to fit someone else's comfort," she said, her voice growing stronger. "It's about celebrating what makes us unique, what makes us complex. I'm not asking for permission to exist in this space. I'm claiming it, and I'm inviting others who felt excluded to claim it too." The applause was thunderous. During the Q&A portion, question after question came from young artists thanking her for her honesty, for showing them that success didn't require compromising identity. One young Black girl, maybe 16, stood up with tears in her eyes. "You don't know how much seeing you here means to me. I thought I had to choose between being myself and being successful. Thank you for showing me I don't." Zara felt her own eyes fill with tears. "You never have to choose. Anyone who asks you to isn't worth your energy." After the conference, Minho found her backstage. "That was incredible. You were incredible. I was so nervous I thought I might throw up," Zara admitted. "Couldn't tell at all. You owned that stage." He kissed her forehead. "I'm so proud of you." They celebrated with dinner at a small Korean restaurant Minho loved, tucked away from tourist areas. The owner recognized him but simply smiled and showed them to a private table without any fuss. "This is nice," Zara said, looking around at the intimate space. "Quiet. This is real life," Minho corrected. "Away from the cameras and the performance. Just us being us." "I like just us," Zara said softly. "Me too." Minho reached across the table for her hand. "I know we've only been together a few months, and I know it hasn't been easy, but Zara, I need you to know something. I'm in this for the long term, not just until the next album cycle or until the novelty wears off. I'm in this because you make me want to be the best version of myself. Even when I'm difficult?" Zara teased, though her heart swelled at his words. "Especially when you're difficult, because your difficulty comes from knowing your worth and refusing to settle. That's not something to apologize for. It's something to celebrate." Later that night, lying in bed scrolling through social media, Zara found herself reading comments on videos from her conference speech. Most were supportive, praising her message and her courage. But one comment thread caught her attention. "Remember when she rejected Minho at that festival? Look how far she's come. She was always going to come this far. The festival thing just gave her a platform." "No, the festival thing showed us who she was. Someone who knows her value doesn't change just because circumstances do." Zara smiled, remembering that day months ago when she'd let roses fall to the ground because accepting them would have meant compromising herself. She'd been so scared then, so guarded. And while opening up to Minho had brought complications and challenges, it had also brought growth and happiness she couldn't have imagined. Her phone buzzed. A message from Mrs. Kong, the elegant woman from the festival who'd sat with her by the lake. "I watched your conference speech online. My grandson is very lucky to have found someone with such a strong spirit. Come visit sometime. I'd love to hear about your next project. Your grandmother is amazing, Zara told Minho, showing him the message. She is. She's also one of the only people who's never treated me like a celebrity. Just her grandson who sometimes forgets to call. Minho smiled. She likes you, by the way. She told me weeks ago that if I let you slip away, I was an idiot. Smart woman. The smartest. He pulled Zara closer. Wanna know what else she said? What? That the best relationships are the ones where both people are whole on their own but choose to build something together anyway. That you can't complete someone else, you can only complement them. She's definitely smart, Zara agreed, thinking about how much she'd grown since meeting Minho. Not because he'd changed her, but because he'd supported her becoming more fully herself. 3 months later, Zara's graphic novel won a major award for debut authors. Minho was on tour in Japan when the announcement came through, but he sent flowers and a video message congratulating her. I knew you'd win, he said in the video, grinning. Because your work isn't just good, it's necessary. It's the kind of art that changes how people see the world. I'm so proud of you, and I can't wait to celebrate properly when I'm home. The award ceremony was held in New York, a glittering event full of publishers and industry professionals. Zara walked the red carpet alone, fielding questions about her work and her inspiration. When asked about Minho, she smiled. He's supportive, but this is my achievement. My work. He understands that, which is one of the many reasons I love him. It was the first time she'd said those words publicly. Within minutes, the clip was everywhere. Zara Johnson confirms she loves Minho, screamed the headlines. Her phone rang immediately. Minho, calling from Tokyo. Did you mean it? He asked, his voice soft. Mean what? What you said on the red carpet. About loving me. Zara felt her heart race. They'd been dancing around those words for months, both feeling them but neither brave enough to say them first. Yes, she admitted. I meant it. I love you. Even with all the chaos and complications. I love you. I love you too, Minho said, relief and joy flooding his voice. I have for a while, but I didn't want to pressure you or make you feel like you had to say it back. I don't say things I don't mean. You should know that by now. I do, which is why hearing you say it means everything. They talked for an hour, despite the cost of international calls and the lateness of the hour in Tokyo. They talked about the future, about dreams and fears and possibilities, about maybe living together when his tour ended, about supporting each other's careers while building a shared life. This isn't what I expected when I went to that festival, Zara said. I was so sure I knew what I wanted. Simple, peaceful, uncomplicated. And now I know that what I actually wanted was something real, something worth fighting for. You were right that day in your studio. The circumstances are impossible, but somehow we're making it work anyway. We are, Minho agreed, because we're both stubborn enough to refuse to let circumstances define us. 6 months after going public, Zara and Minho had found their rhythm. They split time between her apartment and his, creating a home that reflected both their personalities. She had a dedicated art studio space, he had his music equipment. They cooked together, fought occasionally, laughed often, and built something real amid the chaos of public life. Was it perfect? No. Did they still face scrutiny and speculation? Absolutely. But they faced it together, as partners who'd chosen each other despite every reason not to. On a quiet Sunday morning, they sat on the balcony of Minho's apartment drinking coffee and watching the city wake up. Zara was sketching ideas for her next graphic novel. Minho was writing lyrics for an upcoming album. Do you ever regret it? Minho asked suddenly. Saying yes to this life? Zara looked at him, really looked, at the person beyond the performance, the man who'd respected her boundaries and earned her trust, who'd fought his company to protect her privacy, who celebrated her success without needing it to reflect on him. Not once, she said honestly. Do you? Never. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. Even if you did reject me in front of thousands of people. Had to make sure you were serious, Zara teased. Pretty boys with nice smiles are a dime a dozen. I needed to know you had substance. And do I? More than I expected. More than I deserved, honestly. No, Minho said firmly. You deserve everything. And I'm just grateful you're letting me be part of your everything. Zara thought about the girl she'd been 6 months ago. She thought about all the reasons she'd said no, all the walls she'd built. And she thought about how love, real love, wasn't about those walls coming down easily. It was about finding someone patient enough to wait while you dismantled them brick by brick on your own terms. Thank you, she said softly. For what? For waiting. For respecting my pace. For proving that not all pretty words are lies. Thank you for giving me the chance to prove it. Minho set down his notebook and pulled her close. For teaching me that some things are worth waiting for. That authenticity matters more than convenience. That the best relationships are the ones you choose consciously, not the ones you fall into thoughtlessly. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the city, two people who'd found each other against all odds and built something real in the midst of chaos. It wasn't the simple, peaceful life Zara had thought she wanted, but it was authentic. It was honest. It was theirs. And that made it perfect. If you've made it this far in Zara and Minho's journey, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below telling me what spoke to you most about their story. Was it Zara's courage to maintain her boundaries? Minho's patience and respect? The way they navigated fame and authenticity together? And if this story resonated with you, if it reminded you that knowing your worth is never wrong and that the right person will respect your journey, hit that subscribe button. Share this video with someone who needs to hear that it's okay to say no, to take your time, to demand respect. Because at the end of the day, that's what this story is really about. Two people choosing each other consciously, authentically, on their own terms. That's the kind of love worth fighting for. Until next time, stay true to yourself, and remember that the right person won't just accept your boundaries. They'll celebrate them.